Hi Thumos, and welcome back. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of strength and why I believe it's important for men to be strong in mind, body, and spirit, and how there is a sort of war against the strength and the masculinity of the individual man these days. I'm going to try to uncover that, and so to do that, I'm going to speak slowly. I'm not going to be as fast as usual. I truly believe along the lines of Thoreau when he said that the language of excitement is picturesque at best. You must be calm if you want to speak wisdom, if you want to say something that is worthwhile. And the reason I say that quote is not to say that I'm going to spit a bunch of wisdom on you. It's really to make a point that I believe a lot of the content that we consume, the music that we listen to, the things that we allow ourselves to consume, the media, it has this sort of chaotic, frenzied, feminine energy. And a lot of people, I believe, especially men, are addicted to this energy, this feminine chaos, this energy that sort of calls you to feel something. I believe many men are addicted to this, the mother. So I'm going to make a point here first about why. Why is it that we need this shock in our lives to wake us up? Why do we feel dead inside to begin with? We're men. Why can we not listen and hear and understand and cultivate wisdom within our lives? Why do we need something always jumping at us and grabbing our attention? Jump cuts, people yelling at us, changing their voices, high pitch, low pitch. Why do we need something new every 15 seconds to capture our attention? Why are we so addicted to the validation of women? Why do we sit on Tinder and swipe, chasing after these girls that have 50 guys talking to them, taking them out on dates, buying them things? Why are we so addicted to the mother, to the feminine? Why do we need this music that is so scattered, that's so discombobulated, so jarring, to make us feel something, for just a moment? It's my belief that we have been raised this way. We're a generation, as Tyler Durden said, raised by women. I don't know if we need more of this energy in our lives. And I think that this energy has become addicting to us because it's what we know. We don't know the love and the peace and the stoicism, the equanimity of the father love, the father-like caring. What we know is many of our mothers yelling at us, the anxiety of our mother, the ups and downs, the mood swings of our mother. We don't really get to associate with that calm, level-headedness of our father. The father is supposed to make you feel like everything's okay. When you're in the presence of the king, the father, everything's okay. Everything's taken care of. You're a young boy. There's nothing to worry about. A good mentor, a good coach will always show you the way forward with calmness. He's not going to yell at you. He's not going to make you feel like a peasant. He's going to build you up. But many of us never got to experience this energy growing up. This loving, father-like, king-like energy. Because I believe, too, that our own fathers didn't have the strength from their fathers passed down. They were also a generation raised and weakened by this energy. And so they became unable to handle the mothers. Or maybe they're not in the homes ever. Or maybe they didn't have any structure for our lives and peace in their own lives. They let the mother take over. And many of us can relate to this, man. We have anxious mothers, very loud, yip-yapping mothers, and our fathers don't know how to handle it. The mother never respected the father. And so that gets passed down to us as men. And so this is the energy we come to know. And it's this energy we come to seek validation from the mother. We come to seek that sort of chaos, that feminine energy. We don't know the peace. We don't know that calmness. And so I think that's a good place to start. what I see is there is a warfare. There is a spiritual warfare on the hearts and minds of men all over the world. And all of warfare, Sun Tzu said, is based on deception. It's going to deceive you. It's going to get inside of your mind and deceive you. I see a passivity among a lot of men. I see this big time in men from the UK. There's a sort of passivity. There's a sort of lack of spirit. There's a lack of heart and drive. I don't say this to make fun of you. I say this because I talk to a lot of guys from the UK and the High Thumos group. And they acknowledge that. They can relate to that there's something there. Maybe it's a lack of sunshine. Maybe it's, all the blood pudding. But I mean, there's something that's going on. There's a passivity. In the US too, I see a lot of men. It's like they sort of declaw themselves. They take away what makes them dangerous. They're ashamed almost of giving off a sense of strength. They're ashamed of their desire to fuck, their desire to fight. They lack this competitiveness that is natural. They lack this power, and they're almost ashamed to have power. There's a great story, Aesop's fable, of the lion, the maid, and the farmer. The lion goes to the farmer. He says, "Sir, I would love to take your daughter out. Can I please take him out?" He says, "Okay, but your teeth are too long. Please go to the dentist and file them down." So the lion does. Comes back. He says, "Okay, I'm ready. My teeth are shorter." He says, "Okay, but your claws are a bit too long. Please go back to the dentist, get them filed down." So he does. He comes back. He says, "Okay, I'm ready." The farmer looks him up and down. He approaches him, and he bashes his freaking head in. A lot of us are becoming like that lion. We're declawing ourselves, we're defanging ourselves, and we're losing exactly what it is that makes us dangerous, what makes us men. When men lose that spirit within them, they're controllable. They're more likely to consume, and they're more likely, when you look at it in the family, they're not leaders. There's no leaders. The family, the community. And so these men are losing that very thing that makes them what they are, is strength. It is the edge. And it is what has been around forever. Since the dawn of time, it is what has separated man from women. Strength. So you can bet your britches that strength is going to be around for as long as it's been around. More so than any of this little trends that are going around, the super tight pants, squeezing your nuts, castrating yourself, the broccoli hair, the dye in your hair, the little cross earring that guys wear, the pump covers. It's like, the pearl necklaces we see these celebrities wearing, men dressing up in dresses, speaking in this high-pitched sort of autistic voice. You can bet your money that strength will always be looked upon as something of necessity. And it is what makes you you. And so now we've started to run and distance ourselves from that. And I think that's part of the deception, is to distance yourself from exactly what makes you you, to become neutral, to become castrated. You're essentially becoming neutered. There's many ways this happens. The overarching theme, I really believe, is the thought form and the spirit that occupies the mind of the individual. And I've talked about this before. I'm going to lay it out real fast. When you look at our Pledge of Allegiance, we are one nation under God. If you truly believe that as an individual, that God is on your side, then you have to understand that God is not a coward, dude. God is the same God that is described in the Bible. Okay, and I'm using this as a metaphor because you have to understand the indomitable just fierceness of being under this sort of God that would literally drive fear into the hearts of his enemies. This God, the God of Moses, the God of the Israelites, the story of Moses and the Pharaoh. This is the God that told Moses to go to Pharaoh and to say, "Let my people go." Moses, on the first test, God says, Pharaoh says to him, throw down your, I believe it was God, I'm confusing the story, but God says, throw down your staff. Turns into a snake. Pharaoh says to his magicians, also, this is easy. This is light work. Tells the magicians, do the same thing. They throw down their staff, and there's snakes there. Pharaoh says, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Prove to me that this God of yours is who he says to be. See, God has all this planned. He ends up sending 10 plagues, and he strikes fear into the hearts of Pharaoh and the Egyptians. Let my people go. I am God. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to cause terror in the hearts of you and your people. This was not just to get you know, when you look at the story of Moses and Pharaoh, it's okay, you know, God, he sent these plagues and to let the people go. No, this is, when you look at the overarching theme of who the fuck you're dealing with, man. You're not dealing with some, you know, wizard in the sky. You're not dealing with some, you know, soft, loving, gonna pat you on your pat you on your butt, send you on your way. You're dealing with freaking God. And he's not afraid to send these freaking plagues down to you, to bloody the river, to send locusts, to send these diseases that eat at your flesh, to kill all the firstborns of every family. I mean, this is a God of, like, intense genocide, of he don't give a damn. All right? And that is going to strike fear. So this was strategy on God's part. This was, I'm going to show them so much power that they will never be able to doubt my greatness. You also see this in the story of David, a simple weakling, a little shepherd boy. And the Philistine Goliath says, which one of you will come and face me? I believe it was 40 nights go by. Which one of you will face me? And David, of course, believed in God. All right, this indomitable will. He steps up, he says, I'll face you. He gathers his stones, he takes his slingshot, he's walking toward David. Whoosh, one stone, boom, right to the forehead. Crushes the Philistine, falls right to his face down. David steps up to him, takes a sword and slices his head off. The stories to show that this God is, you're not playing with this God, man. This ain't it. You're not playing around. That's going to strike fear into your heart. And it did. And it's the God that we consider ourselves governed by. One nation under God. You mess with us, you mess with him. This is a God of strength and power. And so you start to sort of see in modernity this taking away of this belief of being guided by some force. This governing force for humans. There's no fear. There's no fear. All fear has been stripped away. All courage, because you can have so much courage when you believe that there's a higher order, there's a higher power that is looking out for you and the people. That's where you can derive courage from that thing. And so you strip that away. Now you're left with pretty much nothing. Now you're left with a bunch of men who are okay with being weakened. You're okay with a whole bunch of men becoming more like women. And ashamed. And I see this big time with men. There is a shame, man. There is a shame with strength. Why are you afraid to be strong? Why are you afraid to be assertive and aggressive and competitive? There's a great story in the Odyssey. Odysseus briefly says this story about how the Greeks send the Trojans a horse as a gift, a humongous horse. Humongous. The Trojans are like, is this a trick? Is this a trick? All right, we're at war with you. Is this a trick? There's one guy that was left to stand out, and he says, this is a gift from the Greeks as a sacrifice to Athena. They end up taking it in. They kind of inspect it. One guy even throws a spear at it. He swears he hears a little yelp from inside. They leave the horse there overnight. Night approaches. In the middle of the night, the door opens, and 50 of these Greek, the top warriors, come out, and they totally vanquish everyone in the city. They capture the city. The Trojan horse. And it's my belief that part of the deception of warfare, who knows who's doing it? Who knows what it is? But it seems that the best that they can come up with is to start with the men as the bridge, as the foundation of the family structure and of the community. And if they can weaken him, they will do so. And that is their main target. And I believe it is the very Trojan horse that the Greeks use that is also being used in the lives of men. I believe there's numerous Trojan horses that we're dealing with. I'm only going to mention a few. You can mention some down below what you think. But I believe that the overwhelming thing, and we'll kind of go back here, is that they have really found a way to sort of shift. And it's not right, it's not a sudden shift. It's over time. It's a waning. It's a wearing. It's a war of attrition, where they've cut off the supply lines of hope. They found that in warfare that one of the ways you could win is to not have these frontal battles where you have one army face the other. It was much more deceptive than that. It was a war of attrition where you actually wear down the enemy lines. You cut off their supply lines. Famine is a great way to strike fear into the hearts of men, to make them weak and cowardly. All right? It was this wearing effect on the spirit of the army and its military, of its soldiers. What is happening today with the man? We no longer look to God. We no longer feel like young David, that we can take on Goliath. We no longer feel like we're promised some great future, that we can have will, and God is on our side backing that up. And this isn't a call to return to some religion. This is not a call to be a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, nothing like that. This is a call to protect and guard the spirit of your mind, because there is a wearing effect. There is something that seeks to build and destroy that, to destroy it down, to tear down those walls. I think the media is a big way. You let the television show you things. You let things constantly in. I know there's a thing that many of you have heard, like TikTok in the US, a lot different than in China. They're showing you things. They're sort of over time tearing down this thing within your mind, making you more helpless, feeling stuck, feeling caged. There are many Trojan horses again, but I want to make this point clear, is that we have to guard the mind. I know many of you Hindus, you recently celebrated Diwali. In Diwali, the Festival of Lights, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they keep a light on at night. They keep like a salt lamp on at night to light the way for the gods to come home, something like this. It's a symbolism. There's this symbolism there, even in their statues and the sort of idols that we don't really understand here in the West, that they leave around the house. They're all signposts that call forth the mind back to structure, to strength. You see the gods laying around the house. See a picture of Ganesh while you're eating your lentils. You see, see Shiva while you're taking a bath. I mean, you're feeling good. You got gods all over the house. There's no time for demons. There's no time for weakness, because you're always thinking about that. It says in the Bible, renew your mind. Start your day by the renewing of your mind. Put on the armor. Put on the armor. I believe, the sword of truth, the armor, the breastplate of righteousness. Put these things on. Renew yourself. Guard the thought form. Guard the spirit that's in here. And many of us don't even pay any mind to that spirit. We don't pay any 2 seconds of thought to what we consume actually impacts the way that we view the world, the way that we view ourselves, and we see things. We perceive reality. And so that's the first thing, is that there is a war to influence your mind. This deception. We see also Trojan horses show up in the form of prawn. I'm saying that for the algorithm. Many of you know this word. This sort of addiction to voyeurism. And I think it goes deeper than just prawn, because there is, voyeurism, getting off to someone else, having this act with another. You're not only getting addicted to that sense, it's crushing you internally. But beyond prawn, think about how addicted we are to the lives of others, seeing what other people are doing. You would never have this opportunity. And so I truly believe that when people look back 100 years from now, what the fuck, man? What the hell? We're addicted to seeing what the hell other people are up to. Instead of just going about your day, feeling ingrained within your community, having brothers around you, now you're around all these people you don't really give a damn about. You're seeing their lives, you're seeing their dramas, but you don't actually understand, because through this medium you can't understand. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but it's not telling you what's actually going on. It's not telling you what's going on. So it sort of distances. You can't relate to other people. There's something to this. I truly believe something to seeing what everyone is up to all the time is just not good. I think that the speech through the use of the internet, we have no longer it's like we don't take the time to really express ourselves, to explain things. Again, this chaotic energy, this I've made videos on this, but the words that are really quick, the modern day Zoomer words. People think I'm tripping over this, right? People say, bro, why are you worried about that? Because you have to worry about language. And as language breaks down, we start using different words to communicate to each other. Not even words, but like half of words and phrases, and it's like we're speaking in emojis all the time. And emojis, again, the language of excitement, to make you feel something, to make you jump, to capture your attention. But it's dividing because you can never relate. And so they break down the language between men, and then it's harder to fellowship with others. A big thing that's happened in our group is like we've become more cognizant of how we speak to one another. I didn't even make this a thing. I just noticed it happen naturally. We've gotten away from using a lot of these terms. It's so easy to tell someone cope or cap. You're coping. It doesn't explain. It doesn't seek to understand. It simply is egotistical. We've got away from that. We've tried to actually structure the way we speak so that it can be understood and so that we can understand the other individual. So these Trojan horses, our language, the voyeurism, the addiction, the waning on the spirit, also this isolation, this isolation where we feel like we are in these hives. We don't even know our neighbors' names. Everyone's so isolated. Most men, I don't think you guys understand, most men deal with isolation. It is a true thing that more than ever people feel isolated, and that is crushing. No man is an island. No man is an island. Every man is a city, a continent, and he needs others there. Because what happens when you are a city, but you have no guards at the gate, you have no king, you're just a lonely king sitting in his throne, and then when the enemy approaches the gates with that Trojan horse and leaves it there, what happens at night? What happens when there's no one there to protect the city? It gets demolished. It gets overrun. It gets taken. That's what's happening to men. They're letting these Trojan horses come into their lives, and they're not sure how to deal with them, and they're being defeated. And slowly but surely, through this deception, through this spiritual warfare, they're weakening. And this is where it happens, is that it shows up on the external. And you see this more than ever. People are walking around with their heads down. There's no more of that sort of, respect me. There's no more of this aura, this demeanor. Walking around with their heads down, they look like victims. You want to start being stronger? Walk around with some purpose. Keep your head up. Acknowledge who's in your area. You should never be unaware. You should never wear headphones in public. I've been saying this forever. You're literally blocking off one of your senses. You need to be aware. You need to walk. You need to know who's in your environment. And also do something for how you feel about yourself. You're not a weakling. You're not a peasant. You're not the hunchback of Notre Dame. You don't need to walk around like this, staring at the ground. There ain't nothing down there. Look up, dude. Yukio Mishima. Some truths can only be realized by the unbending of one's spine. You gotta look up. You gotta observe the horizon. Right? Instead of going down into hell, you have to keep your eyes forward on the path. So walk with some purpose. Stop being so sluggish. There's like this lethargy that's overtaken all these guys, man. We have to rage against that. Understand the tricks of the enemy, the poison arrows. In the way that you dress, I highly recommend that you just take some time to reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself if you don't like your life. I see a lot of guys, they will tell me they want to be successful, they want to be rich. And then I look at them, and they look like they have no awareness of how they're perceived in the persona. Their hair, their style, everything about them screams weakness. Again, strength is never going away. Look at the kings of the jungle, the lion, the gorilla. Everyone is so worried about being smart and cunning. Machiavelli said that, you should be a combination of both. Cunning, which is like the fox, but you also need that brute force and that power like the lion. It's like everyone's so worried about being this cunning, little, smart intellectual. But you need to be the lion if you're to stave off, if you're to fend off from the wolves. You need to have strength. You need to have strength and cunning. And so the way you're dressed, I tell you, we have some guys that come in the group. We have such a great mix of guys in the High Thumos group. We have guys making six figures. We have really strong individuals, like really, we got powerlifters, bodybuilders. We have a good mix, businessmen, entrepreneurs. I'm so surprised by that too. It's a pleasure to get to know these guys. When you see who's watching the channel, You get to know these guys, and they're like, wow, these guys are badass. Sometimes you get guys that they've had a hiccup, they've reached a blockade, and they need some guidance. And I get to talk to these guys. One thing we tell them is just drop all this bullshit that's going on in your head. You're in this thought loop. Take care of the external, man. If you're not working out, work out. Get some muscles. Too many guys, they're skinny, their posture's shit, and they need to get a haircut. Seriously, you start doing those 3 things, like straighten up, walk with purpose, get a haircut. My hair's not cut right now. I need to get a haircut, but I normally fade the sides, and I don't keep the top too long. You don't want to appear weak, man. Don't appear weak. Don't let yourself be a weakling. Why be perceived as weak? You're trying to be too cunning. You're getting too concerned with words and the intellect. You need strength. And that's such a great place to start, man. That is such a great place to start. Listen, get rid of the freaking clothes that are making you look weak. You're looking like a damn Fruit Loop. Why? Stop dressing like a Fruit Loop. Stop dressing in everything that's trendy. You know, dude, some of this shit is just pure ugly. Like, you can never go wrong with a pair of good fitting black jeans, a nice pair of boots if you like sneakers, some white sneakers, and some good fitting t-shirts. Simple that. We're in a Henley right now. Love this thing, right? If you're working out, you don't got to be this damn bodybuilder that's like bursting at the seams, like, oh yeah, okay, you're wearing these muscle tees. Like, no, just like wear something that gives off you're strong. Stop weakening yourself. I believe this is crucial, man. Let's go even a bit deeper for this. We wrap this up. In your own relationships, you will suffer if you are a weakling. Every single woman wants a man that she thinks is better than her. It is literally that simple. A woman wants a man that she is prideful in, that she can love, that she can cherish, she can show off to her friends. No woman wants a weakling. And how could you even think otherwise? There's literally nothing else. Why would a woman want a guy that she is better than? And you just gotta look at that, man. Like, why would she want that? Part of what makes you different and stand out is that you're strong. You have a strong mind, you have a strong body, you have strong social skills, you have power. I really believe that a lot of guys, they lose their competitiveness. Especially they get older, they get in a relationship, they stop competing. Every guy must be competitive. Call of Duty ain't cutting it, man. You can't just be competitive in Call of Duty. Right? Every man needs some sort of rank, respect, competition. That's why I say do jiu-jitsu. You get your white belt, you're the lowest of the low. You get beat up, but you get competitive because you want to be better. If you had played sports, listen, you played sports when you were younger, played basketball, played football, skateboarded, played 7 seasons of baseball. When I stopped competing, that's when I got depressed. When I really look at what happened in my life, I had no competition. Life is freaking boring if you're not competing. And the competitive spirit is within man. And I truly believe that in order to have this leadership qualities within your relationship, to be successful, you need to be a competitive individual. You know, you need to be competitive in your relationship enough that your woman knows that she's not going to make you weak. She's not going to bitch you up, dude. She's not going to look at you as, a lesbian. She could just be in a lesbian relationship if you're going to give away all your power and be weak. And a lot of guys do that. They lose their competitive edge. They start dressing like women, dude. They start putting earrings in their ears and just getting, like, it's okay to be a little skinny twig. Like, bro, how are you going to lead a relationship? I'm not saying you have to be this jacked dude. I'm saying, how will you lead if you allow yourself to not be the leader? Let me make sure that made sense. How will you lead if someone else is leading you? There's always going to be someone leading you or someone leading in the relationship. So it's either you or the person you're with. And, I don't know about you, but I'm not being led. I'm not being led by my girl. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. And part of that comes from I am competitive and I am strong and I feel like a man. And that is the natural inclination of every man. So, suffer and die if you would like to be weak and you're okay with being weak. Ah, man. So the importance of strength, I hope you guys really take the time to think about these things. Let me know down below the Trojan horses that you may feel in your life. But again, no man is a city. No man is meant to be an island. You're not supposed to be alone. That's when really the world, it starts to feel like overwhelming. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I really hope that you guys will see the importance of seeing yourself as strong. When you look in the mirror, I am strong. When you think about yourself, I am strong. I am not a weakling. I don't need someone else to always tell me what to do. I don't need some guy on YouTube yelling at me. I don't need another self-improvement book. I can actually show through my actions to this girl that I want to fuck. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that because you are a man. And when you are strong and when you feel strong, you don't feel this anxiety. Right? You no longer, you get away from this validation, attention seeking. You don't need it. You no longer need that mama energy. You become more closer to the Father, right? You become closer to that presence, that calmness, but also that there's a sort of insane amount of strength there. So that's it, man. Have no shame. Be strong. Hope you guys enjoyed this message. Keep it high, Thumos. If you'd like to talk to me, come join the group. We got a ton of great men in there. We have a lot of challenges coming up. Hope to see you in there. Hope you have a blessed day. Peace.